guys, this is Michael again. I know it's an NES game on my TV. It kind of looks like crap. It was due to technical difficulties, of course. Go figure. But, yeah, as you can see, this is Earthbound 0. And you might be wondering, never heard of that game, never seen it before. Well, as far as I know, it never came well, I'm positive it never came to the States. I don't know if it never came to Europe. But yeah, this is pretty special. This game was actually supposed to come to the States, but it did not because it came out around the same time the Super Nintendo came out, and they didn't want to waste money because they're like, it's not a crowd, we don't want to spend any money on this. So instead of releasing it, they did not. And then later on the Super Nintendo, they came out with Earthbound, which is kind of weird because this was supposed to be Earthbound. And they actually, for this, they actually had the packaging and everything designed for this. The advertisement, you name it. They just never put it into major production. And I'm going to name this girl Gwen, which is named after my dog, which is Nerdly. Yes, that's a word. If it's not, I just made it up. I made it up. But yeah, I named her after Gwen Stefani because I'm a closet No Doubt fan. Don't judge me. I apologize. Throughout this video, I'm going to pause. This is kind of a different video because it's an RPG. So I got to think. A boy's name, I'm going to go with Snake. I mean, what else would you name your boy? This is already an exciting video. Watch Michael do text. It's pretty hardcore. I'm going to go with Pliskin. Sorry, I said it weird the first time. You probably were thinking Metal Gear Solid, but I'm just going straight up John Carpenter, Escape from New York. I'll get back to my story after I'm done typing all of this. Favorite food? Chicken wings. Sorry, PETA. Hopefully they'll give me enough letters. I abbreviated chicken so I have enough letters, and I got an extra one. Why did I pick that? Of course, I'm okay with this. I picked it. Alright, anyway, to make sense out of this craziness, Earthbound on Super Nintendo was actually Mother 2. This was supposed to be Earthbound 1 because this was Mother 1. In Japan, it's called Mother. They actually named it Mother after John Lennon's song, which is a little trivia note for you. There's actually a ton of more facts on Earthbound fan pages and on Wikipedia if you want to look more into it. But as I said, they didn't release this because the Super Nintendo came out, and then when the Super Nintendo was out, they actually came out with Earthbound, which actually came out with its own strategy guide and everything, and I'm surprised it didn't sell well, because this was actually an RPG that has a very American feel. It takes place in a fake American town. Nobody bought it. I'm guilty of it too. I don't know why nobody bought it, because when I actually finally got to play the one on Super Nintendo, which was Mother 2, it's technically Earthbound 2, but since we never got the first Earthbound, they just called it Earthbound. Nobody bought it, so when the third one came out on Game Boy Advance, we never got to play it. It's all our fault. What doesn't make sense to me, though, is they release all these rare games on the Virtual Console that never came out here, and that originally came out in Japan, Earthbound, which has been in here, and they release a lot of random games that nobody even cares about on there. They never released this. They released this on Virtual Console in Japan, not this, which they should release this because it's already translated. They should release this, but I'm talking about the Super Nintendo version. They released the Super Nintendo version in Japan. I don't know if they ever released this version in Japan. Of course, not the exact version. It was in Japanese because it was well received there. Let me move this camera. This camera is kind of a pain in the boot. I apologize. No problem. Sorry, little Terminator. This part kind of always creeps me out the doll. But anyway, even though this is a very American-based RPG, I mean, you eat hamburgers instead of potions, you go to the mall instead of a shop, you have a fight in an arcade, nobody bought it here, so they won't release it. Ironically, they assume everybody knows who Ness is. Ness and Lucas, like on Super Smash Bros. Brawl, like Ness is the player that who I'm playing as now, even though I named him Mikey. His name's technically Ness, and on Super Nintendo was Ness too. And then on the third, Earthbound, which has a Western vibe, I wish I could play it. If you actually get the game, the Japanese game, which I never got to play, I'd like to eventually. They actually made a translation for it you can download so you actually know what you're doing, because when you play a role-playing game like this, a story is like 50% of the experience, and if you can't read Japanese, I don't assume your experience being 100%. And I gained a level, which for people who don't play role-playing games, I'll explain it for you. Basically, you have experience points. The more you fight and win, the more experience points you get. Every so many experience points, you gain a level. Every time you gain a level, you get stronger and your health rises. And if you can't finish something or beat a certain part of the game, that you go and level up more and more and gain levels until you can get to a point in the game where you can level up and you can win, basically. I know that sounds kind of boring if you don't really play role-playing games, but if you do, like, it's pretty common protocol. You mostly play role-playing games. Like, yeah, if you have a good battle system, it really helps, but in my opinion, you always play role-playing games for the story. Now, I'm myself turned off by super hard RPGs, so, like, if this was super impossible, I wouldn't be playing it. I wouldn't think it's as great as it is. Like, I don't like the older Final Fantasies too much just because of that fact. I know some people like to grind. That's why I never got into World of Warcraft, because I can't spend days grinding. Grinding's referring to what I just described, but over and over and over again. Like, there's people that spend hours and hours and hours. I just can't do that. It's not me. I sound so cool there. It's not me. It's not my bag. And here your dad calls you, which I really like. This is so different from every RPG. It's truly a shame that Japan is choosing to not let us have another chance at this, because there is a fan base that's been complaining. I know people would buy it. I just don't think it got the... Even though for the Super Nintendo, which is basically everything Japan is probably basing this on, Super Nintendo, we did get some advertising. The game came with a free strategy guide. It might not be free. Actually, it was a long time ago. I can't remember how much the game cost, but I knew the strategy guide came with the game. It came in a huge box, so any kid that sees a huge box you think would want it. But I didn't get it either. I'm guilty. That's when it first came out, so I don't have anybody to blame but myself too. But when I finally played it, I was kicking myself. I was looking for this game everywhere because it's so unique. What RPG has this scenario? talk to Mom here. NES has the ability to actually talk to animals. It's pretty impressive. I'm so sorry that the camera, the scrolling confuses it. I can't wait till I get my real camera again. But it has that bootleg ghetto charm, doesn't it? Now all I need is somebody to actually walk in front of the camera like a crappy bootleg for a movie or something in the theater. My dog's hilarious. He's actually, if you look at him, he looks like he's half bird or something, half cardinal. A white cardinal dog, cardinal retriever. Alright, so here I'm going to give you an example of grinding. Now the thing about this is it's kind of tough, so I stay near the house as much as you can. Because if you get too far and you get really weak and you have to run away from the enemy, it's ridiculous, but I don't think it's letting me fight. I thought it would, because I keep on making the same mistake of going out. I'm trying to do what I was referring to as grinding. This is horrible the way this camera is. Stray dog, like, I love the enemies here. You have hippies, stray dogs, crows, lamps, dolls, a bunch of inanimate and weird objects that you wouldn't find in any other RPG. Now, this game starts out kind of tough, like that. It's kind of cheap the way that enemies, like the first fight you have, can kill you, but that's actually pretty typical of older RPGs. But I do have to say is, once you level up, I'd say the complexity of this game is probably like the original Pokemon on Game Boy, which I actually like. I'm not gonna lie, I know some people who like Pokemon, ew, but actually, at least the regular games, the ones on Game Boy, like the ones that are basically named after colors, I think they're pretty good. I'd like to review some of them. I actually got a 3DS of the latest version. Like, I got white, there's a black version too. I actually play that more than the 3DS games, although the 3DS didn't get that great of a launch. Now, I need to run. I'm probably gonna die. I hope not, because that's gonna make for a crappy video. See what I mean? Like, you can get in a fight if you're not careful, which obviously I was not. You kind of get screwed a little bit. Which is, one thing is cool about this game, it actually has a continue feature, which is a godsend for some of you who played RPGs. You know, like, you died on Final Fantasy VII and restart the whole game, where you had to load from a memory card, which was ridiculous. But yeah, it's hard in the beginning, but don't let it scare you away. Once you level up a few levels, the balance is decent, because then you can basically grind if you can't beat something. My camera is being so stupid, I apologize. I don't even know how it does half of the tracking. It looks like it's like a tech demo in this video. Alright. Let's see if we can beat the snake. It's pretty simple. Like, you have the PSI abilities, which are basically psychic abilities like telekinesis and stuff like that. I really don't have anything right now this early in the game to demonstrate. But you have telekinesis, like, for items, you have hamburgers, juice, stuff like that to restore your health. It's a game that takes place in America, probably speaks to us more than it does the Japanese, really, even though this was made by Japanese people. Like, it was made for us, I think, and I think we totally just dropped the ball. And it sucks, because there's a Game Boy Advance game that had this and the Mother 2, which was Earthbound 2, basically. It was Mother 1 and Mother 2, and then they were actually going to make one on the Nintendo 64. It was supposed to be the third one, but they canceled it and then brought on the Game Boy Advance. And even the Game Boy Advance has like a Western vibe. It takes place somewhere like in the, I guess, the Midwest of the United States, in a fake town. I forgot what they call it, like, this area. It's like Eagle Town or Eagleville or something. It's obviously supposed to be the United States. And there's so many, like, references, backgrounds, enemies. Oh, I beat an enemy. How about that? More weird scrolling towards the TV. And then, once you're done your first fight, I highly recommend you talking to Mom until you get at a good, decent level where you actually can stand to fight a few fights. See, it asks you what your favorite food is, so Mom will cook you chicken wings, or whatever favorite food you type in. That's basically how you grind. You go back, and then eventually you'll level up enough to be able to fight 2 enemies at a time without worrying about dying, and you just keep on doing it until you get stronger, and then you go a little bit further, etc., etc. Basically rinse and repeat procedure. Yeah, that's Earthbound. Obviously I can't show you the whole game, at least not in one video, but if you can find this on eBay cheap, I highly recommend it. I don't believe it's on Virtual Console, so hopefully Japan will give us that chance. It perplexes me why they haven't released that, but they released some of the garbage that they have on there. So if you have any opportunity to play this or Earthbound on Super Nintendo, do it. And definitely check out the Earthbound like fan community. There's a lot of history, news. If you have like the Japanese version, you can get fan translations and everything. And from what I've seen, I haven't actually played the third one, but I've seen videos of it. From what I've seen, the fan translation is actually really good. So thank you for watching. If you like this video and others, please subscribe. For those of you that have subscribed, I thank you for subscribing, watching my videos, and I've been checking out all your guys' videos, especially the video game ones, and they've been super cool, and I try to leave as many comments as I can. Like, if I haven't left a comment on your video, I probably still have seen it, and I like everything I've seen. Like, anybody I've subscribed to, I like your videos. So yeah, I hope all is well with all of you. I'll talk to you later, and take care. Bye.